Morning friend, today we are going to discuss buffering, which is one of the important topic in geographical system analysis, where we have used this buffering technique for our modeling purpose and some special query. So we need to understand how we are creating the buffer and what are the methods that are applied to creating the buffer zone. So buffer is a process of generating a zone of point, line and area features. Process of creating a zone of geographical features like point, line or polygon. By offsetting a user defined distance. So it can create, say, two types of zone. That is, one area within a specified distance of select features, that may be point, line or area, and another other areas that is beyond of the special features. Right. So buffer is closely related and you can control some degree of the presence of friction of the different types of topographical features. So the types of buffer. Point buffer. When you are creating a buffer around the point features with an uniform distance in all directions, then it is known as the point buffer. Line buffer. If we are creating a buffer for linear features like road or transport network or river on a distance measured by the selected features by the user. Polygon buffer. When the buffer is creating of a polygon features. So these are the three major important buffer that we used in GIS analysis. There are several buffer like multiple ring buffer, to analyze the data or easily representing the sample variable. We are creating this type of buffer, like suppose these are point features. There is a multiple ring of buffer, that is multiple concentric region of a specified width around the points or into lines or polygon features. Then it is known as the multiple ring buffer. Dot knot buffer. A buffer around the polygon features that doesn't include the area inside the buffered polygon. Like this is called the dot not buffer. Setback buffer. Here, the buffer around the polygon features that only extend the inside of the polygon boundary. Like only extend inside the polygon boundary. Then this is called the setback buffer. Bidirectional buffer. Real world example of this buffer is a setback from the center of the suburban street or to some portion of an owner's property that is available to the city for lighting or the utility for work. This is a real world example of the setback buffer. So there are several methods that are used to create a buffer that we will discuss. That is the methods of buffer. First is arbitrary buffer. What is arbitrary buffer? There is no proper logic. No proper logic for creating this buffer. This is basically guessed buffer, and this is very larger than the actual need to be, and the extra distance that can be created by this buffer, and this distance is known as Euclidean distance. Right? Euclidean distance. Next, causative buffer. This is a functional buffer than the Euclidean distance. This is a functional buffer. Because of the prior information and some justification of the buffer available to use, therefore it is known as the causative buffer. It considered based on the prior information and logical reason. Measurable buffer. This buffer can be based on the intervisibility measurement. Right. Intervisibility measurement. There is some measured value, particular measured value. Next is the mandated buffer. Mandated measure exists and must be adhered to is a mandatory. There is the legal or mandated. So these are the four methods that are used to creating a buffer in GIS database. We are also creating the buffer in the raster data. Like when you are creating the buffer zone of a point, line or polygon features of the raster data, by measuring its physical distance, it uses the row and column in measuring the physical distance for the raster data. Row and column. However, algorithm is employed to compute the distance from one or more source of cells to each other and cell in the grid of this raster data. And each cell is then implied value for its shortest distance. When you are creating a buffer, like for a point features, it can create by measuring its shortest distance by ranking algorithm. And this measuring is also based on the Euclidean distance. So there are a lot of application of the buffering. Like first, as we discussed, for spatial query, spatial modeling. Suppose we would like to say that there is a road, so within 10 meter distance, no any construction should be made. So within a 10 meter distance, we can create a buffer. So suppose this is the road, so we can say how much distance is squared by this road in and around the 5 meters. That is risky. So we can create a buffer in the 5 meter distance. So these are the one of special query of this GIS analysis for its modeling or planning purpose. And the multiple ring buffer help us to creating the sampling design. For sampling design, we are creating this buffer for field activities and for the modeling. Thank you for watching this video and subscribe to the same.